All right, now we're going to go back one notch on our definition to the term stops. 65 stops there are on the First Baptist organ. On the organ, a stop is essentially a voice. It's a type of color. It's almost like an instrument in the orchestra. And as I said, this instrument has 65 stops, which makes it a very large organ. And some of the stops sound like flutes. Some of the stops sound like trumpets. Some of them sound like old instruments from the Baroque and the Renaissance and even the Middle Ages, like the crumhorn stop. And once in a while they get out of tune, too, like that last note. Some of the stops sound like strings. And then there are stops that sound like nothing else but the organ. And these are really the backbone of the instrument. These are called principal stops, and they sound like this. Now the stops are brought into play, are turned on, as it were, by these knobs that you see on the right and the left of the keyboards. And on each stop knob, you will see a name like bourdon or mont or hautbois or trompette harmonique, which if you're an organist, you learn all these names and what they mean. That tells you the general quality of sound that the stop falls into, as well as the specific type within that general sound. So general type might be flutes, but it's a specific type of flute, flute à pavillon or corde nuit, whatever. And you will also see on the stop knob a number, usually an Arabic number, but sometimes a Roman numeral as well. And those numbers might say 8 or 4 or 2 or 16 or 32. The Roman numerals might say 4 or 6, something like that. That tells you what pitch level, high or low, the stop plays in, because the stops play at different pitch levels. So, what do I mean by that? Well, this is where we could really descend into a long, drawn-out explanation. But basically, if you see a stop knob and the number 8, the Arabic number 8 is on it, that means it plays the same pitch as you would get if you played the piano for that note. So here's a principal stop at 8-foot pitch. Now I'm changing to another principal stop with a different name, pressed on, but it's just a different type of principal. But it is marked 4-foot, which means playing the same notes, I'm getting a sound 1 octave higher. Here's a principal that's marked 2, meaning 2-foot, an octave above that. 16, an octave lower than what you would get on the piano. Now, the stops, of course, can be used individually, even the upper pitch stops, but most times on the organ what you're doing is you're combining the lower pitches with the higher pitches to create a composite sound. And so the organ, in a way, is like a synthesizer. And if you think about that, then given that you can trace the organ's origins well back into the Middle Ages, it's really the world's oldest synthesizer. So anyway, if we follow that pattern, then here we have 8-foot, 8 with 4, 8, 4, and 2. 16, so on and so forth. So it's almost like orchestration in a way. You're combining different colors and you're combining different pitches a lot of times to create a composite result.